जय जगदीश हरे। जय जगदीश हरे।
We have flowers around it here. Siddhi buddhi prade devi bhukte mukte pradayani mantra murti sada devi Mahalakshmi namostute. Mahalakshmi namostute. Naivedyam. We offer Persad. To you we owe a debt of gratitude. You have blessed us with many things we can eat and nourish our bodies. We offer sweet cooked food in our puja. May we please with us. भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंदम ये दुनिया ही प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंदम ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंदम ये दुनिया ही प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
भजले गोविंदम ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ
प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ।
बिनती तेरा प्रभु कोई न जाने प्रभु तुझे प्रभु कोई न जाने।
तेरा प्रभु कोई न जाने प्रभु तुझे प्रभु कोई न जाने।
आओ दलिया बजाओ अब आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ। भजले गोविंदम ये दुनिया ही प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
भजले गोविंदम ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ
प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ।
Please come, accept our Persad. We have prepared this Persad with conviction. We offer this bhog to you, not because you are hungry, but giving thanks to you, expressing our gratitude. Be pleased with us, we beg of you. Om Brahmar Param Brahma Ved Brahmagalo Brahmana Hutam Brahmagatina Gantavyam Brahmakarma Samarinam. Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanam Mamastu. Om Shri Krishnarpanam. Bhajale Govindam ये दुनिया ही प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
भजले गोविंदम ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ
प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ।
We offer tambul, supari and clove. Bless us with long life and good health, we beg of you. Listen to our prayer. Om Pungi Palamya Deva Nagabridana Yuktai Lalichunatam Tambulam Prati Gretam Lavankarpura Sanyuktam Tambulam Surpujate Lavankarpura Sanyuktam Tambulam Prati Gretam. We offer drops of water. Om Gangesha Yamunishaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmada Sindhu Kaveri Ajvanam Prati Gretam Ajvanam Samarpyami. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We offer Dakshina. Hiranyagarbha Samartagre Bhutasya Jata Patrikayasi Saradharam Prithivimna Dakshina Danam Maham Karikshi Shubham Karotu Kalyanam Arogyam Sukhasamparam Mama Shatru Vinashati Pajotar Namostute. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We decorate our altar with flowers as beautiful as we can. प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ
प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ।
भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंदम। ये दुनिया ही प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंदम। ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
ओ भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंदम। ये दुनिया ही प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंदम। ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
We join in expressions of welcome. Shri Vishnave Namaha.
Seetahal, on behalf of the Ganesh Utsav Foundation and all its members, together with our Reverend Pandit Sunil Seetahal-Maharaj, I take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you viewing us live on Sankhya TV as well as Facebook. I urge you all to sit back, relax and enjoy this evening discourse. Seetahal.
खड़ा हो जाएं, आरती लीजिए। Let us all please stand for the opening आरती। सिद्धि बुद्धि प्रदे देवी भुक्ते मुक्ते प्रदायिनी मंत्र मूर्ते सदा देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते। भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये अमर गंतये मुक्ति पंतये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
हरि ज्ञान ही वरदान यही जग के मंगल की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये सुख करनी हे दुख हरनी हे मधुसूदन की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की हे आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
मधुर बोल जगपंत बोल सन्माद दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
हे मधुर बोल जगपंत बोल सन्मान दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
श्री राम ही घनश्याम सबके महिमा की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की हे आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय भागवत भगवान की हे आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम। जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम। जय 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 भागवतम।
श्री नंद नंद गोपाल, आनंद नंद गोपाल।
हे 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 नंद नंद आनंद नंद यदु नंद नंद गोपाल।
हे नंद नंद आनंद नंद यदु नंद नंद गोपाल।
हे नंद नंद गोपाल, आनंद 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 नंद गोपाल।
आनंद नंद गोपाल,
आनंद नंद गोपाल।
आनंद नंद गोपाल।
आनंद नंद गोपाल।
आनंद नंद गोपाल। हे अमर गंतये मुक्ति पंतये, पंचम वेद निराला, नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
हे अमर ग्रंथये मुक्ति पंथये, पंचम वेद निराला, नव ज्योति जगाने वाला।
हरि गाहि वरदान
हरि गान यही, वरदान यही।
जग के मंगल की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय भागवत भगवान की हे आरती।
पापियों को
भगवान की हे आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम। Sing with me.
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
ओ जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम। वृंदावन गिरिलाल की जय। आसन पर बैठे। Let us all please be seated. My adorations, my prostrations at the feet of all our Brahman Devatas. And so this evening we say a special welcome to viewers on television and our listeners on radio and our viewers and listeners on Facebook. And so we say a special thank you to our kind and our corporate sponsors that would have made our broadcasts, our various broadcasts, possible. This evening, as we prepare our minds and our souls to listen to the beautiful Katha, this reading is the which session again? The 6th session. 6 already. The 6th session of Bhagwat Katha. We bow our heads in prayers, we chant the mantras of benedictions. Hari Om. Vighaneshwaraya Varadaya Surapranambhodharaya Sakalaya Jagathitaya Nagasrutyagya Vibhushita Gauri Sutaya Gananath Namo Namaste. Saraswati Mahabhage Vidya Kamanalochini Brahmadarini Sri Shakti Devi Mahasaraswati Namostute. Ajnanam Timirandasya Jnananam Shanshilakaya Chakshuram Militam Mena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Varnanam Arthasanganam Rasanam Chandrasamapi Mangalanam Chakaritaro Bande Vani Vinayako Bhavani Shankaro Vanne Shraddha Vishwasvarupino Yabhyam Vinana Pashanti Siddhasvantastamishwaram. Adorations at the feet of Ganapati. Adorations at the feet of Bhagwan Shiva. Adorations at the feet of Lord Jagadish. Adorations at the feet of Radha Rani. Adorations at the feet of Guru. Adorations at the feet of Grama Devata, that God who governs the land. Listen to our prayers. We bow to you. Bhagwat Sumiran. Riddhi Siddhi Data Siddha Sadan Nivaran Varina Sumiro Barambar Madan Kanan Ki Lal Ko. गणपति कृपा निदान जानिकाने आनंद भवन देहु मोहि वरदान वरनु बाशा भाग्यवता. जय शिवानंद कन्न भूतनाथ भवे हरण भक्ति विषय निरेद्वान गौरवरण मंगल करना. हे ब्रज चंद्र मुकुंद ब्रजभूषण दूषण हरेना कथो भव बेपन्न चरण शरण नी आनि करा. जय 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 जगदीश श्वेत शेष महेश यज महिमा अमित वेद वेद जानत नहीं। देह मोहि वरदान राधा वरय वर सदा प्रेम बरे मुस्कान नित चित में कटे कटे रहे। मोहि चाहिए कचुना और वास्तु प्रभु जगति बस ही रे मन या भाग्य जानकी सदा। लिए न कुटिया गायन के पीछे फिरत ग्वाल बाल निसा मोर मुकुट सिर परे धरे। कर मुरनी उन्मान शेष मुकुट के पीत पता या सभी सो नंदना बस हुए दे ममर्षि देवा। Sri Sukhdev Muni, he's about to tell the beautiful Katha to Raja Parikshit. And so narrating the beautiful Katha to Raja Parikshit, Raja Parikshit sits there. Raja Parikshit sits there like a dry sponge, waiting to absorb the nectar out of the words, out of the Kathas that Sukhdev Muni will deliver. And so Raja Parikshit sitting at the holy banks, sitting in this holy place. This place that we are sitting in can be compared to that of the Naimi Sharan. This holy place, this sacred sanctified spot. And so sitting there, Raja Parikshit pays obeisance to Sukhdev Muni. He is bowing to Sukhdev Muni. Sukhdev Muni is a child. He is young. He is youthful. And Raja the king is bowing to Sukhdev Muni. Why? Because he wants to absorb the nectar out of the glories of Bhagwan. For he knows that this is an investment that he's making, not in his body, but in his, not for his body, but for his soul. And so, paying obeisance, he bows to Sukhdev Muni, thinking of Guru. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Par Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Guru Pararaj Darshish करहु भागवत की कथा जो सुखदेव मुनि कई परीक्षित निरपति सो. Using the dust of the lotus-like feet of Guru, I cleanse the mirror of my ignorant mind. Guru, please guide me onto the path of salvation. I bow to you again and again. आपको बारंबार नमस्कार करता हूँ. गुरु महाराज की जय. श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुरान. बोधहीन तनु जानिके
सुमिरो पवन कुमार.
बलभूत विद्या देहु मोहि ओ
हरहु कलेश विकार।
रसिया पति रामचंद्र जी की जय। शरणम वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। We're about to listen to the beautiful katha, but let us sing a few lines of this beautiful bhajan as we glorify Devi Mata together. दर्शन हो माँ तेरे सबकी अभिलाषा है। मन मेरा हो तुम सबके, तुमसे यही आशा है। क्या मेरा क्या उसका, ये अपना पराया क्या। सब ज्योति जला करके उतार करो दुर्गा, उतार करो दुर्गा। तुम विनती सुनो सबकी, कल्याण करो जग का। सराह दिखा करके उतार करो दुर्गा, उतार करो दुर्गा। तुम विनती सुनो सबकी। दर्शन हो माँ तेरे सबकी अभिलाषा है। मन में रहो तुम सबके, तुमसे यही आशा है। ओ माँ, ओ माँ, ओ माँ, ओ माँ। दर्शन हो सबकी अभिलाषा है। मन में रहो तुम सबके, तुमसे यही आशा है। क्या मेरा क्या उसका, ये अपना पराया क्या। सब ज्योति जला करके रोशन करो जग सारा, रोशन करो जग सारा। तुम विनती सुनो सबकी, संसार तो माया है, कभी धूप कभी छाया है। एक दिन ने उसे जाना है, जो भी यहाँ आया है। ओ माँ, ओ माँ, ओ माँ, संसार तो माया है, कभी धूप कभी छाया है। एक दिन ने उसे जाना है, जो भी यहाँ आया है। क्या रंग ही जीवन का, क्या रूप ही मानव का। तुम ज्ञान बरा करके उपकार करो दुर्गा, दुर्गा तुम विनती सुनो सबकी Let us join in the Kirtan. The Kirtan is the act of awakening the mind, preparing ourselves to listen to the Katha. When Kirtan is being sung, we clap our hands. When Kirtan is being sung, we sing too. When Kirtan is being sung, you can't clap, you can't sing, then get up and dance. We all make a joyful noise unto Bhagwat. The Guru Pran says that Kirtanam is one of the greatest forms of worship. Kirtanam, by singing of the Kirtan. When you clap, you expel your sins. The people around you who refuse to clap, they absorb your sins. If you want to go home a little heavy, then don't clap. If you're home in your living room, we don't want to send some sin for you, so you clap too. Let's clap and let's make a joyful noise unto Bhagwan. Everybody. Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma,
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma,
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma,
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma,
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma,
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma,
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma,
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma.
I started to clap, you know why? Maybe I'm the only person not clapping. You know what that means? The rule applies to me too. I'm looking at the Facebook and I'm seeing everybody clapping and sending their hands of clapping. And they're probably looking at me and saying, take this in, Baba, take this in. I might be the only person not clapping. Immediately I started to clap. Kirtan. When we sing Kirtan, you're supposed to experience a joy that comes from deep down within. Especially when we chant that particular chant. It creates a different kind of energy. Sing with me, sing with all your love, the name of Ambe Mata, Devi Mata. Let us sing her praises this evening. Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma,
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma,
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma,
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma.
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, 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 Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma,
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma,
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma.
Jai Jai Ambe
Jagadamba Mata Ki, Jagadamba Mata Ki, Jagadamba Mata Ki.
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma, Jai Jai Ambe
Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma. Jai Jai Ambe Bhavani Ma. So don't stop clapping your hands. We listen to the Katha. Sukdev Muni is telling Raja Parikshit, Bolo Sri Seetahal-Maharaj, 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 Jai Siyavar Ram. Bolo
Seetahal-Maharaj, 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 Jai Siyavar Ram.
Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jai Siyavar Ram.
Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jai Siyavar Ram.
Om Paramatmaye Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Paramatmaye Ramaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Om Yakunde Tusharahara Davalaya Supravasravitaya Vina Varadanda Mandarikraya Svet Paramasana Ya Brahmachitara Shankara Pravitve Deve Saravandita Samam Paptu Saraswati Bhagavate Nisheshajadya Paham Om Aim Saraswate Namaha. Shri Sukdev Uvacha, जिसमें पहले श्री भगवान की कथा स्मरण होते करना, देखो आत्मा की शांत होते करने, आत्मा की शांत होते करने, भगवान विष्णु ने देख रेखा उन्होंने का क्षीर सागर के आसन करने, देखो तुरंत का योजन के पीर करने वाले, करते के पृथ्वी पर का दे राजा उसके का समय का सत्यव्रत है करने, सत्यव्रत करने वाले। सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम। बोलो
सीताराम, 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 जय सियावर राम।
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम, राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
राधे श्याम, राधे श्याम, राधे श्याम, जय सियावर राम।
Bhagwan Vishnu dwells in a Chira Sagar, the Milky Ocean. And so Bhagwan Vishnu sitting on Seshanag, this serpent who has many heads, Bhagwan Vishnu sits there very comfortably. We spoke about snakes and we spoke about the nature of snakes and we spoke about what a snake looks like on the first night of the Yagna. And so, well, I'm saying that like the first night was a long time ago. I said, and I say, and I will continue to say with no apology, that long ago you found a snake under the brick and crawling somewhere and under the plant and on the tree, and that's where you found the snake long ago in the dream. But now you find the snake in your Facebook pictures standing next to you. You find the snake hugging you up and kissing you and saying kuchi kuchi ku, you're my best friend. And then the minute you don't fulfill the desire of your best friend, then you become the best enemy. Because all you are given is no more hugs, you are given venom. You're given venom. The snake is a very cunning animal. The snake always trying to find out and lurk and go into places that will get you frightened. Snake refers to some of the qualities that we possess too. Because we possess that kind of quality too. Snake-like qualities, isn't it? You don't answer. Let me alone get in trouble tonight. And so Raja Parikshit sits there, and Raja Parikshit is listening to the words of Sukdev Muni, and Sukdev Muni says, Bhagwan Vishnu is seated in the Chira Sagar upon Seshanag the serpent. And so lying there comfortably, Bhagwan Vishnu, he is enjoying the coolness, the cool nature of the snake. Your friends who like you can compare them to being cool, isn't it? True or not? You say, I have real cool friends, boy, isn't it? Akshana, at her age, she has cool friends. But then, when friendship turns into a competition, then the cool friends turn into a different kind. The temperature changes, isn't it? Because at their age, they're now learning what a friend is. Because the minute their friends say to them, let's go to the mall, and the mother say no, then they get the next friend who could go. And you get bowled out. The minute the little boy says to her, let's go to the cinema, and the mother say, you mad, something wrong with your head, he find a next girl who could go. She gets dust out. You ever hear about that? Dust out? She got dust out because the temperament changes. The emotion changes. And so Seated there, Bhagwan Vishnu is enjoying the seat. And so as Bhagwan Vishnu sits there, out of the navel of Bhagwan Vishnu, a lotus flower blossoms. And so seated on top of this lotus flower, जिसने का पूजन करने श्री ब्रह्मादि पांच वीर का देख उनके करने श्री प्रथम देवाय नमो नमः ब्रह्मा तभी का आसन बैठे श्री फूल फूल देने वाले sitting on this lotus flower that has blossomed from the navel of Bhagwan Vishnu, seated there is Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma, he appears to be old. He appears to be old. What makes you old? What makes you young? What makes you old? What makes you young? The thing that makes you old or makes you young is found somewhere inside of here. It's found somewhere inside of here. Because you are only as old as you allow yourself to be. You only behave as old as you allow yourself to be. True or not? You are only as young as you permit yourself to be. But the quality of finding that is found somewhere in here. Do you know that I know of some very old people, old by age, but they're more brisk than the young people who are young in age? What they can do, the young people can't even dream of doing. By the time the young people get up in the morning, the old people have already done all of their chores and they could continue doing. And you now get up and stretching and yawning. When you get up and stretch and you're yawning and you're looking for toast, bread and tea, they don't cook dal and rice. Because what they could do, we can't do. And though they are old in age, they're not old in the way they behave. They're not old in the way they react. Because you know why? They become more willing than even the young people. You know that? So, the best company to keep is the company of the old people. That's why when I have a little time, I call up Auntie Champan, Auntie Pam, and Auntie Kusum, and I say, let's go. They say, where are we going? I say, we're going Barapota, Puja, get dressed. And this time we're in Sandy Grandia. They sit in the car and they say, well, like Barapota, move. I said, just relax. And they say, so how much puja are we going to do? I say, just one. It's about 5. 5 different places, Trin City, and we're going. And not once they will complain and say they're hungry. Not once they'll complain and say they're thirsty. Not once they'll complain and say that, actually no, Auntie Pam. No, only her. Let me call my husband to make sure he's okay. And when you call him, he said, well, you're calling me for, ain't she with you? Poor man, glad to get a break, huh? Poor man, glad to get a time off from her. But she will pester him even when she's away from him. And so, Bhagwan Vishnu, having this experience of this lotus blossoming out of his navel, and Brahma sitting there, Brahma appeared to be old. And so as Brahma appeared to be old, seated there, Brahma held in his hand Charoved. Charoved. He's holding the 4 Vedas. Charoved. The Vedas are the direct instructions of how we should live and what we should do. The Rig Ved, the Yajur Ved, the Sam Ved, the Dharma Ved. It gives the guidelines of how to perform the rituals, how to perform worship, how to live. When is a good time to get up? When is a good time to go to sleep? What are the foods to eat? When is a good time to get married? When is a good time even to die? It specifies, it gives in detail every single thing in pertainance to creation and life. And so Brahmaji holding these Vedas in his hand, it says there was a being who was observing what was happening. Do you know there are some people, they sit silently and you think that they are friends, but they are sitting and observing to wait and attack like a serpent, like a snake. Do you know? And so Brahmaji holding Charoved, holding the 4 Vedas in his hand, Brahmadev, his eyes were closed and he appeared to be asleep, but he was in meditation. He was in deep meditation and his eyes were closed. If your eyes are closed, would you be aware of what is happening around you? If your eyes are closed, can you be aware of what is happening around you? Actually, when one sense goes to rest or one sense is not being used, the other sense is sharpened. Do you know that? That's why a person who is visually impaired hears very well. A person who can't hear very well might see very well. And so the other sense is sharpened. And so Brahmaji, in deep meditation, his eyes, his physical eyes, they are closed. And so Brahmaji holding the Charuved, the Vedas in his hands, something happens. What happens? Listen, it tells us. Sing with me. Bolo Seetahal, 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 Jai Siyavar Ram. Bolo.
Seetahal, 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 Jai Siyavar Ram.
Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jai Siyavar Ram.
Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jai Siyavar Ram.
परमात्माय कृष्णाय गोविंदा नमो नमः। श्री ब्रह्मा जी जिसमें का सपना होते करने, राक्षसों का नेक अश्वार करने वाले, चारों वेद की चोट करने हैं, जिसमें का हयग्रीव नाम तथा करने श्री देखते उनको करने वाले, देखो हयग्रीव का पाताल करने वाले, जिसमें का समुंदर की बीच करने, जिसमें का हाथे ब्रह्मादि भगवान विष्णु का स्मरण होते स्मरण होते। बोलो सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम। बोलो
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम।
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
Looking around and observing, there was a demon, an asura, a person who has no good qualities and no good intentions. And so his name was Hagrid. A description was given of the kind of face that Hagrid possessed. And it says, Hagrid possessed a horse face. A horse face. Have you ever described somebody by stating about their face? You look at them and you say, stop making a monkey face. Have you ever said that before? You look at them and say, you real bold face. It means that you're bold? It means that your face is a bowl? Then maybe they will ask you, what kind? Enamel or plastic or stainless steel? Huh? So, the illustration or the description is given to give an idea of the kind of power, the kind of strength that the demon possesses. Do you know the water pump? The water pump, the pressure in the water pump is measured on an animal. Do you know that? Brenda taught me that last week. And they call the power of the water with the frequency that it goes through, it is measured by horsepower. You all know that? And I'm saying that, well, the water is not going upstairs. And she's saying, how much horsepower it have? I say, it have a horse in that? And she says, a half horse or a three-quarter horse or a whole horse. I say, I don't even know it had a horse. And she said, well, go and take a picture and I'll tell you about the horsepower. Well, where the pump is, I pour me like a horse, I can't even fit. So I never sent the picture. After the Bhagwat, we'll have to see about that. Having the face of a horse, his name was Hayagriv. And so Hayagriv, taking this opportunity, recognizing that Bhagwan Brahma, he was having a sapna. What is sapna? Sapna. Sapna means a dream. He thinks that Brahma is dreaming. Do you only dream when your eyes are closed and you are sleeping? The teachers in the classroom say the children sit down and they daydream in. Have you ever heard about that before? Daydreaming? You ever sit down and just lost away and watching and your mouth open and they say, what happened to you? Close your mouth now. You're catching flies? Huh? And unconcerned, unconscious, you're sitting there and you just gaze away for a while. Have you ever done that before? Does that only happen to me? And so, Hayagriv, he uses his opportunity and he goes like a chor. Chor means? Chor. Chor means? Thief. And he grabs hold of the Charuved, the Vedas. And where he goes to hide. He goes as deep as Patal. Patal is beneath the earth. He goes as deep as Patal, but not in Patal, in the Samundar. What is a Samundar? What is this Samundar? As deep as Patal, Patal means beneath the earth, as deep as beneath the earth, but in this Samundar. What is a Samundar? Have you ever heard that name before, that word? Samundar. Samundar means the Samundar means the ocean. So deep beneath the earth, but in the ocean. And so he begins to hide there. He has power. He's hiding there. How long can you stay beneath water for? How long? I'm not sure if he had a submarine. I'm not sure how he's able to do this. But what it says is that he's powerful. And once you have power, then you know what happened? Anything is. Robbie is saying that the Govardhan should not be placed on the ground. And Dave said, don't worry, give me 5 minutes. And then he comes back with a wooden stand and he says, disco walk? That's his words, disco walk? And I say, where you get that? He said, man, you just say now, we getting anything. Power, authority. I agree. He goes and he begins to hide there. But Bhagwan Vishnu has observed everything that had happened. There isn't a single thing that Bhagwan, God, is not conscious or aware of. Do you know that? There isn't a single thing that God is not aware of. Who would you blame when you have trouble? Who do you blame when you have trouble? I'm seeing some wives pointing their husband. Oh God, maybe I asked the wrong question. Who do you blame when you have trouble? Now I want to show you, I want to tell you how confused we behave as a people. As a people. The minute you have trouble, you try to blame every possible being and every possible thing around you, but you never blame your own. The minute you have trouble, you even blame God. You think that is God creating trouble in your life. You think that God is responsible for the trouble in your life. So you know what you do? You change your religion. You change your religion. You say, well, you know, since I changed my religion, I real seen my way. And I real catching myself. And you know, thing real happening good. Because you know why? You start to pray. You start to bathe. You start to dress up. You start to comb your hair that you never comb in months. And many things begin with cleanliness. You all know that? You blame even God for your trouble, but you will never sit down and analyze yourself and blame yourself. I have some news for you. And I want to say this with no apology. And just in case you were closing your fridge and you didn't hear what I'm saying, I'm going to say it again, more than once. Whether what religion you turn to, we all worship the same God. Let me say that again. Whether what religion you belong to, we all worship the very same God. We all follow a different pathway. The pathway is called religion. But the eventual outcome is mukti, salvation, praying for the soul. True or not? In the Holy Bible, the Christ says, the trumpet of the Lord will sound and the dead will rise to give an account of the life they would have lived. In the Holy Quran, the Prophet Muhammad, upon whom be peace, said, I died from a stone, I became a plant. I died from a plant, I became an animal. I died from being an animal, I became a human. I died from being a human, I became an angel seated with God. And it talks about that. In the Bhagwat Gita, Lord Krishna says the very same thing. That those two texts says, but it says it a little bit different. And that's what we don't like. Because the Bhagwat Gita tells us the truth. And the Bhagwat Gita says, there is a place prepared for you when you die, but don't think that that place is prepared by God. It is prepared by you based on the karma, the actions that you perform while you're alive. Doesn't that make sense? Doesn't that make sense? This place was prepared by God. But that place that you will go to is prepared by you based on the actions and the life that you live. But you want to live anyhow, eh? They say, eat, drink, make merry, when dead, bury. Have you ever heard? And then when you start to see hell, you say, it's God. It's God. God don't like me. It don't have no God. God hit you one culture on your head. Because we blame everybody all the time, but we never sit down and blame our own selves. And that's a fact. It is the truth. The situations, they're geared at helping you to polish yourself. They're geared at helping you to to climb higher and higher and higher to mukti, salvation. But you know what? We give up very easily. We always like the easy way, isn't it? We like the easy road. We like to sit and condemn and criticize and find fault. You'll ask Sharon, she'll tell you. Find the fault. We have to find a fault. There are a million good things to see and to observe, but we see what we want to see. And not necessarily the good thing, eh? Hayagriva has stolen the Vedas, and Hayagriva is now hiding in the Samundar, in the ocean. Bhagwan Vishnu knows that now it is time. He has to do something. Action has to happen now. And so Bhagwan Vishnu knows that if there is no guide, then trouble will come. If there is no guidance, then trouble will come. And so Bhagwan Vishnu, he has to do something. What will he do? Listen, it tells us. Bolo Sri Seetahal, 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 Jai Siyavar Ram.
Seetahal, 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 Jai Siyavar Ram.
Bolo Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jai Siyavar Ram. परमात्मने नमः। जिसमें पृथ्वी पर का राजा जिसके नाम सत्यव्रत है, उसके का पूजन देखो 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 तप गया होते करने। स्नानम भी उन्होंने का रूप के दे छवि का दर्शन ने भगवान सूर्य की प्रार्थना होते। जिसने का प्रार्थना करेंगे अपने का अंधकार होते। देख और उसके काम मनुष्य क्या है, देख और कुछ लगे का रहते हैं। उसने का सभी का क्रोधिया करने मछली चोते मछली का रे चोते मछली का है। सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम। बोलो
सीताराम 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 जय सियावर राम।
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राधे श्याम जय सियावर राम।
Supreme Muni is telling the Raja Parikshit, he says now that Hayagriva is hiding in the ocean can be found on the earth. So Bhagwan Vishnu has to plot a plan. He has to come down on the earth to find the Vedas. So Bhagwan Vishnu has to choose a mode, a method that he will use to come down. So he has chosen a king whose name is Satyavrat. Satyavrat. Satya means, Vrat means Satyavrat. This being who is truthful and who is considered to be pure and noble. Vrat means fast. Vrat means purification. Vrat means fasting, as we will call it. And so Satyavrat, this king, Satyavrat, Pratkal. Pratkal means early in the morning, he will offer his pratna. Pratna means what? Prayer. He will pray. Pratkal. When is the last time you got up Pratkal, early in the morning, before the sun rises, to offer a lotus of water? When is the last time you did that? Baba, you know how much trouble I have now? When it's not this one, it's that one, and the next one, but you sleeping. 12 o'clock in the day, you still sleeping. And me and Una, I don't know how much more God will give me. And God trying to wake you up early in the morning, but you still like Kunkaran, You're still sleeping. You would not get up. Early to bed, early to rise makes the body healthy and early to bed, early to rise makes the body healthy and wise. Have you ever heard that before? Whole night you want to watch TV. Choti Bahu and I don't know who else Bahu. And then the next morning you can't get up. And then when you get up, you're looking for breakfast, lunchtime, and you're looking for dinner before time. And then you say, me know how I feel, and I feeling all how. My neighbor looked at me and she said to me one day, she said, I'm feeling like I get slapped up. And I said, so who slapped you up? I said, you all fought, you and your husband? She said, no, I now get up. She's telling me 3 o'clock in the day. She said, I'm feeling like I say you better come, let me slap you up. I said, because the whole morning I'm frustrated here and you sleeping whole day. Bhagwan Vishnu, he has chosen Satyavrat. And so in the early morning, Satyavrat, he will go and he will offer his argya. Argya means his dar. But he will offer it with his hands, Anjali. He will use his hands and he will make the offering. That's why the offering is called Til Anjali. You're offering till and water with your hands. And it is called Anjali because you are using your hand. That's why it is called Anjali. It is called a dhar when it is placed in a vessel. So you pour a dhar from a lota or a kamandal. Some people use a kalsa. And many people, because of their traditions and their beliefs, they use different vessels. It specifies in scripture that the vessels that you use to offer the dhar or the argya has a great impact on the result that you will get out of the offering that you are using. And so it tells us for Shiva, Lord Shiva, we use a vessel that is made of copper. That's why you see they have the copper kamandal hanging over the lingam, dripping the water. Because it is the prescribed method to be used for maximum blessing out of minimum worship to Lord Shiva. And so it specifies. Bhagwan Vishnu, he observes Satyavrat. And it is Pratkal, it is early in the morning. And Satyavrat, he has taken his snan. Snan means, but he is taking his bath not in a nadi, not in a river, in a pond that he has specially designed for worship. He has created a pond for worship. He is Satyavrat. And so he goes in the pond early in the morning to take a bath. Have you ever taken a bath early in the morning somewhere outside? Have you ever taken a bath early in the morning somewhere outside, in the river, or the ocean, or the swimming pool, or... Well, I want to tell you where I came from. I came from that place where you got the water in a barrel. In my Aji's home, we got the water in a thing called a copper. Have you ever heard about a copper before? You ever bathe with copper water early in the morning? It's really copper water, you know. I came from the home where in the morning time you had to heat some water on the stove in a pot to cool down the temperature of the water. I came from a home where in the evening when you came from school, it was not if, but, or maybe, you were not greeted by somebody, you were greeted by a bucket of water out in the sun. Heating up for when you come home, because you know why? Bathe first before you come. I think they probably knew COVID was coming. Because that's what you had to do when COVID came. Anywhere you went, take off your clothes by the road. Walk in backwards and start a bathe from by the road. Not to spread your germs, huh? And the day rain will fall, you better bathe with the cold water. Don't come inside like that. Huh? That's where I came from. That's in the home of my Aji. But in the home of my Nani, it was a different comfort. It was different. Water heater and different. Early in the morning, taking his bath in the pond, he takes a handful of water to offer as his argya, his dar. And taking this water in his hand, he closes his eyes. But as he closes his eyes, it says, what will happen? Chote machli. Chote. Chote means? Machli is what? Machli. Have you ever heard machli? Chote machli. A little fish has swum into his hand. And as this fish is in his hand, closing his eyes, he feels something wiggling in his hand. What if you close your eye to pray and you're holding some water and then you feel something wiggling? What will you do? Satyavrat, being the calm, composed being that he was, he had no reaction. And so Satyavrat calmly opened his eyes and he observed the fish swimming to and fro in the palm of his hand. You ever catch a fish before? I'm not talking about with a rod. I'm talking about with your hand in the drain. You all ever did that? Hello? Only I had boy days? You all never did that before? You know how much licks I get? I get licks for things I do and things I didn't even do. I get licks for places I went and places I didn't even go. The day you go, you get away, and the day you didn't go, you still get licks. It make up for the day you went. Satyavrat saw the fish, and so Satyavrat very calmly, he smiled. And Satyavrat was about to place the fish back into the water. And as Satyavrat was about to place the fish in the water, something happens. Listen, it answers. Radhe Govinda Jai Jai Radhe Gopala
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 Dinanath Govinda Rasa Vilula Gopala
Dinanath Govinda Rasa Vilola Gopala
Dinanath Govinda Rasa Vilula Gopala
Dinanath Govinda Rasa Vilola Gopala
Govinda Jai Govinda Gopala Jai Gopala
Govinda Jai Govinda Gopala Jai Gopala
Radhe Govinda Jai Jai Radhe Gopala
Radhe Govinda Jai Jai Radhe Gopala
श्री परमात्मा ने नमः वाह उसके का व्यापस करने वाले देखो और मछली का भोले है सुनो राजन जिसमें का ब्रह्मारूप करने वाले जिसमें का मछली का जानते हैं मुझको का रक्षा रक्षा करने श्री भरा का मछली होते का कमल भोग करने वाले देखो और कमंडल का घर में रहते उन्होंने का मछली का सत्यव्रत करने हैं ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. As Satyavrat was about to place the little fish back into the water, the little fish spoke. The fish spoke. And the fish spoke in a human voice. What if the fish in your aquarium talk to you when you go home? What do you do? What do you do? I see Shobha eyebrow nearly fall out the way she raised her eyebrow. What will you do? If the fish in the aquarium talks to you, what will you do? Satyavrat, he remained calm. And so Satyavrat, looking at the fish, hearing the voice of the fish, Satyavrat listened attentively to what the fish was saying. Satyavrat, the fish is saying, please, Raksha, Raksha. Raksha means, protect me, protect me. Raksha, Raksha. Bada machli. In this samundar, in this pond, there are many bigger fishes than me. And so I will become the bhog, I will become the food of the bigger fishes. And so if you put me back, they will destroy me. So please don't put me back. Save me, save me, save me. Have you ever been in the company or in the environment of people who share the same profession as you? They are more old than you, they are more experienced than you. And when you go in their company, you feel as though you're inferior because you think or consider them to be superior to you. Hello? Have you ever experienced that? There's some people who will never experience that because their ego is so big. Their ego makes them think that I am the best, I'm bigger than everybody else. And so, Satyavrat calmly takes the fish and he places it in his kamandal. His kamandal means his water pot. Placing the fish in his kamandal, he takes it to his gar. Gar means his home. Taking it to his home, Rat means night comes. And so Satyavrat goes to sleep. But when morning will come, Satyavrat is not thinking about performing puja. He's thinking about food for the machli. He's thinking about feeding the fish. When the little child gets the little puppy for the first time, the little child say, "Mommy, I can carry the dog in the bed." And mommy say, "You and the dog will sleep outside." Huh? When the little child gets the kitten, the little child is dragging the kitten everywhere. Chicky's grandson got a rabbit. From the time I saw him tugging and dragging the rabbit, in my mind I started saying, "Gita, Ganga, Gayatri, I know poor thing dead already." Holding it by the hand and spinning it the airs and spinning it like a helicopter in the air. And I said to him, "You'll kill it." And he said, "No, that is my baby." I said, "No, but you can't hold it like that." He said, "Yes, I hold it like that all the time, uncle." And I said, "It will die." And he said, "No, it's a custom." The little child is saying, he's a custom. Actually, the grandfather is saying the rabbit is accustomed to him doing that. So the rabbit wouldn't die. And in my mind, I'm saying, "Lord, bless the soul of this poor rabbit. I hope it dies soon so it wouldn't have too much torment. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om." And then the next day, when I talk to her, I'm not asking her about her. I'm not asking her about her grandson. I'm not asking about her husband. I say, "So how the rabbit?" She say, "Mar gaya." I say, "My mind, thank God, Hari Om." Out of misery, out of distress, no more distress. He is thinking of the fish, and thinking of the fish, he goes to the kamandal, and going to the kamandal, he recognizes that the machli has grown, the fish has grown, and so the fish has outgrown the kamandal. So he looks a bigger vessel to put the fish. And every vessel that he uses, thinking that it is bigger and it will be able to contain the fish outgrows the vessel. And so he encounters a problem. He's having a conversation with the fish. Have you ever spoken to your pet before? Have you ever spoken to your pet before? What do you tell the dog? How do you speak to the dog? We have a little dog that lives in the house, at home. I never thought for one moment that we will ever have a dog inside the house. But do you know that that dog is not a dog? That dog behaves as though she is not a dog. For that dog understands every single thing, and she's very obedient. Very obedient. She's very trained too. She knows that if something has to happen, there is a pad that she will use, and she knows where it is, and she knows how to use it, and she knows that if she used it already and you don't change it, she's not using that again, so she'll teach you a lesson. And she's well trained. She knows. But when I'm talking to the dog, I say, "Come, mama, come. Kuchi, kuchi, come. Come, I love you, mama, come." When we now got the dog, my neighbor said to me, she said, "I'm hearing you talking to Auntie Radhika and telling her how much you love her. And I felt so happy to know that you're telling her all of these nice things." And I said, "Will you hear me saying?" When I told that anything to Auntie Radhika, and they said, "But you were saying, nice mama, you're nice." I said, "I wasn't talking to her, I was talking to the dog." Strange. There are husbands who will treat the dog better than they will treat their wife and their children. Do you know that? There are people who will treat the animals better than they will treat the humans around them. Do you know that? The dog might get something to eat from you, but not the people in your house. Strange, huh? You have to put something in the fridge and you write your name on it and you put "don't touch" and you put a sticker, "toxic." Just to make sure now that they think it's poison and they don't eat or drink. He holds this vessel, hardly able to lift it, and he's speaking to the fish and he says, "Listen, you've outgrown every vessel. In one day, in a little time, in a short space of time, you've outgrown everything I've tried to contain you in. And so it means that I must take you now, not to the pond and not to the river, because you will outgrow that too. I will take you to the ocean." In Bhagwan Vishnu, in his mind, he's saying, "That's exactly where I want to go. I want to go in the ocean. Because Hagrev is in the ocean and he's a thief, and I want to teach him a lesson. But I'm using you as the vessel. I'm using you as the vehicle." But Bhagwan Vishnu says, "No. Don't rush to put me in the ocean." And listen to what he's saying. already gigantic and huge, and Satyavrat is unable to carry him. He's saying, there are fishes in the ocean bigger than me, and they will. There are fishes in the ocean bigger than me, and they will eat me. Please don't put me in the ocean. In the right time, I will go in the ocean, but put me back in the pond. Take me back to the pond. Please take me back to the pond. And so Satyavrat is taking him to the pond. He begins to speak. He's telling Satyavrat. What is he saying? Listen. Usli ka machli ka vachan karne wale, dekho aur Bhagwan Vishnu ki pratna ho karne, देखो और उनको का राका देख रक्षा करने, मछली का रो कृपा का मुझने का धरो करने, सत्यव्रत के पास उनके करने वाले, एक दिन का तभी का रक्षा करने, देखो और पाप और पापी का पाप हो करने, स्मरण होते करने, देखो और मैं अपने का पृथ्वी कर का उन्होंने का जो त्याग करने वाले, देख और परन का करने वाले, ओ रक्षा होते, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. The fish says, believe me when I am telling you, because my words are satya. I am Bhagwan Vishnu and I have taken this form of this fish. But I want to tell you, I have chosen you. I have chosen you, for now there is no proper guidance and there is total chaos on the earth, and so I must come for the protection of those who are good and noble. And so you must follow my instruction. Rain is about to come and flood is about to rise. And so when rain comes and the flood is about to rise, I have chosen you to be one of the saved ones. You must build a vessel. You must build a huge boat. And so building this huge boat, you must find pairs of every animal. You must find the Saptarishi. Saptarishi means the 7 Maharishis and their consorts. And so you must place them on this boat and you must lock your doors. When the rain begins to fall, place your trust in me and know that I will protect you. But never open your door, whether how familiar the beings who come pounding on your door may seem to you. Never open your door. If you are given those instructions, what will you do? What will you do? Didn't talk about any of the relatives of Satyavrat. Didn't talk about any of those things. Animal, Saptarishi, and close the door. Think about that. In one of our previous discussions, we spoke about the Saptarishis. We spoke about that thing that is identified or called the Gotra, meaning the lineage from which we have come, and meaning that we have all come from the Saptarishis. Why? Because all of creation would have been destroyed. And so the only existing beings there would have been was the Saptarishis. And so we are all descendants of the Saptarishis, the 7 Maharishis. Kapil, Kashyap, and the different Maharishis. And so Satyavrat followed the instruction. And so gathering the Saptarishis, they came with no hesitation. They came with no hesitation. The animals went with no hesitation. The Saptarishis went with no hesitation. The vessel was built with no hesitation. And everything happened. Once your intentions are pure, good and noble, everything happens with ease. Do you know that? But once you're doing anything with ego and with pride, you know what happens? What happens? What will happen? Even the expensive clothes look cheap. And the cheap clothes look like movie star. Because the intention is not right. Satyavrat locked his door and the rain started to fall. And the flood started to rise. And Bhagwan Vishnu says, place your trust in me. And remember my words, I will protect you. What is the need to be fearful? But we know that we can place our trust in Bhagwan, in Paramatma. What is the need? Satyavrat, following the instruction, the Katha tells us, listen. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hari Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Namo Narayana.
Hari Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Namo Narayana.
Hari Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Namo Narayana.
Hari Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Namo Narayana.
नव अरूप का दे करने वाले, पानी का भीत करने, सत्यव्रत का अपने भरोसा का राका तभी हो। भगवान विष्णु का मछली के प्रकट होते करने वाले, श्री शेषनाग का रूप करने वाले, देवकोर की रक्षा होते करने वाले, धनुष का सप्ता मछली का प्राणियों का सुरक्षित करने वाले। ओम नमो नारायणा। ओम नमो नारायणा। हरि ओम नमो नारायणा।
Hari Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Namo Narayana.
It says Bhagwan Vishnu appeared in this huge form as a huge fish. And so appearing, he brought with him Seshanag, the serpent. This serpent acted as a rope. And so the serpent wrapped itself on the bow of the boat. And wrapping itself on the bow of the boat, the serpent wrapped itself on the fin of the fish. The fin of the fish. And so wrapping itself, what will happen? The fish now started to guide the boat in the direction of safety. When I initially read this and when I was planning, I looked at Cindy and I said, what is the fin of the fish? I'm asking her. And then she gave a description of what the fin is. I said, and what is the bow of the boat? Because I had no clue. I don't know about the boat. Where is the bow of the boat? Huh? Where is that? The front? How you know? You have a boat? And I'm saying that we will think that some modern person gave the name to these things. But these names come from scripture. Scripture that was written thousands and millions of years ago speaks about this. And the science of building a vessel that will not sink, that will maintain or sustain life, afloat on water. Before there were engineers and engine far too. You know it have engineer and engine far? You all know? Before any of those things existed, they were intelligent enough to know of how to construct, how to build. Strange, huh? There are homes that were built with San Fernando gravel. You all ever hear about that? And still standing up strong. And there are homes that are built with the finest material and crack up and crumble up, and you have to change wall, and you have to change floor, and you have to change tile, and you have to change all kind of things. You know? And then you say that built with San Fernando gravel, and you know, now they consider that to be inferior material. Huh? But the inferior material is far more superior than the superior nowadays material. Strange. I had the privilege of going to the mud house, and they say, Baba, these walls are mud, you know. I say, mud, and it's so smooth. And the Auntie said, she said, well, I dab it. And I said, dab it? What do you mean? She says, smoothen it with my hand by. I say, all right, girl. I want to know because I don't know. And smooth. You have plaster wall now and it have belly and thing. You all know? I too have a little belly, you know. Plaster wall have a belly. You could see it. The concrete whap. Not when Dan Paul is the contractor. And not when Nigel in charge. They make sure. It says, the fish begins to guide the vessel to safety. The rain stops falling. Bhagwan Vishnu as the fish swallows Hayagriva and grabs hold of the Vedas. And grabbing hold of the Vedas, the birds fly out. The birds will only fly when the birds know that it is safe, the weather is good, and there is a place where they could land. Do you know that? Well, the Katha said that. And then I Googled to make sure that what this is saying is really the truth. And then it is the truth. Which bird you see flying when rain is falling? The birds will never fly when there is rain because the wings become heavy and they will not be able to glide them through the air. That's why when the rain is falling, the birds find their nest. They go into their nest. They go into hiding. I wanted to see then how they will survive for the day without. And then I saw that they're intelligent. They have a plan B. For the birds always have a stash of food in that place that they call home. They always have a stash of food, especially when they know that the weather will be. Because they know. One of the bird name is Suguni. You don't know Suguni? Knows when the rain will come. You all know the weather lady? Who said, you know, it's going to have storm and it was hot sun? You all remember? But the birds, they're correct. They're right. They know. It says, the birds flew out. And this was an indication that the flood was going down and there was a place that the birds would be able to rest. And so it was an indication. The Saptarishis knew that the flood was coming to an end. And so when the flood went down, Satyavrat opened the doors, and standing in front of the Saptarishis was Bhagwan Vishnu holding Charoved before Vedas. He now gives the Charoved to the Saptarishis, not the Brahma, but to the Saptarishis. And he says to the Saptarishi, now using the guidelines from here, creation will begin. And so guide creation into performing the rituals and performing the austerities, and performing rituals in prescription to the laws of dharma. Now that the Charoved has been placed in the hands of the Saptarishis, what will happen? Tomorrow morning we listen to the Katha that tells Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Hari Om Namo Narayana. Om Namo Narayana. Hari Om Namo Narayana. Sarva paparam devam gangyam nirmalam jalam majvanamya datta grihana parameshwara भूर्वस्वाध्यानीश्वरभुनग्न्यवाह्यामि स्थाप्यामि पूजयामश्च श्रग्निदेवताश्रमिहागक्षैहात्रिष्टाय सङ्कल्पं ममस्तु आचमनं समर्पयामि। ॐ नमो नारायणाय ॐ नमो नारायणाय हरि ॐ नमो नारायणाय
हरि ओम नमो नारायणाय ओम नमो नारायणाय हरि ओम नमो नारायणाय।
ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा इदं गात्रे इदं नाम मम। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् इदं गात्रे इदं नाम मम। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् इदं गात्रे इदं नाम मम। ॐ प्रजापतये नमः ॐ इन्द्राय नमः ॐ अग्ने नमः ॐ गं गणपतये नमः ॐ धरती गौरी माता नमः ॐ कलशवरुणदेवता नमः ॐ इष्टदेवता नमः ॐ ग्रामदेवता नमः ॐ स्थानदेवता नमः ॐ दशदिक्पालदेवता नमः ॐ सर्वेश्वरा नमः ॐ उमामेश्वरा नमः ॐ वाणीरण्यगर्वा नमः मातृपितृ चरणकमलेभ्यो नमः ॐ सर्वेभ्यो देवेभ्यो नमः ॐ हरिमर्कटमर्कटा नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमो नारायणाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ हरिमर्कटमर्कटा नमः ॐ अष्टलक्ष्मी नमः ॐ धनलक्ष्मी नमः ॐ वीरलक्ष्मी नमः ॐ सन्तानलक्ष्मी नमः ॐ गजलक्ष्मी नमः ॐ ऐश्वर्यलक्ष्मी नमः ॐ महालक्ष्मी नमः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः ॐ ब्रह्मा मुरारी श्रीगुरन्धकारी भानु शशि भूमि सितो वृस्य गुरु शुक्र शनिराव कीट सर्वे ग्रह शान्तिकारा भवन्तु। त्र्यम्बकं यजामि सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमेव वन्दना मृत्योर्मोक्षमामृतात्। त्र्यम्बकं यजामि सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमेव वन्दना मृत्योर्मोक्षमामृतात्। त्र्यम्बकं यजामि सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमेव वन्दना मृत्योर्मोक्षमामृतात्। नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात्। नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात्। नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात्। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः स्वाहा। हरि ओम नमो नारायणाय ॐ नमो नारायणाय हरि ओम नमो नारायणाय
हरि ओम नमो नारायणाय ओम नमो नारायणाय हरि ओम नमो नारायणाय।
ओम गंगेश्चै मुनीश्चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदा सिन्धु कावेरी आचमनं व्रते ग्रहीतामाचमनं समर्पयामि। वनस्पतिर्सूरभूतो गन्धार्यो गणदूतमा आग्रे सर्वदेवानां धूपोऽयं व्रते ग्रहीतां We stretch our hands as we bow. Om Manalaaya Namah Om Manalaaya Namah Om Manalaaya Namah Hari Om Namo Narayana Om Namo Narayana Hari Om Namo Narayana
हरि ओम नमो नारायणा ओम नमो नारायणा हरि ओम नमो नारायणा।
भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंदम ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम
भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंदम ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
ओ भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंदम ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम
भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंद भजले गोविंदम ये दुनिया है प्रभु की माया भजले गोविंदम।
प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ
प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु जी मेरे आओ प्रभु
मेरे आओ, प्रभु जी मेरे आओ।
प्रभु जी मेरे आओ, प्रभु जी मेरे आओ, प्रभु जी मेरे आओ।
Earlier today, I sat at the back after the first session, and Ashish came to me and he said, I want to ask you a question. When I started to tremble immediately, and he said to me, you read the katha of how the son of Samik Rishi placed a shrap on Raja Parikshit. And so Raja Parikshit has 7 days to live. Then Raja Parikshit is affected by the shrap. And so he has 7 days to live. But then, what about the person who placed the shrap? How is he affected by the shrap that he placed? How is he affected? By him placing the shrap, what effects it has on him? The outcome of the shrap is death. But then by making a pronouncement like this, then what is the effect that will befall the giver, the doer? When you give food, what do you think will happen? If you give food in charity, what do you think will happen? What do you think will happen if you give food? Hello? Every Thursday, we try to feed the homeless people, right? We try to give food. We're giving the food not because we have plenty, but because we know that there are people who have none, zero. So we go there and we give the food. You don't only give them the food, you give money to everybody who you're giving the food to. You don't only give them money, but you give them something to drink. And that's what we do. We do that for no fame, no name, no gain. We do that for our own gratification. Paving a way for soul, for salvation. It is no competition. We have been doing that for a long, long time, quietly. And then many people came on board, and just as they came on board quickly, they dropped off. Actually, they fell off quickly. But it didn't stop us from doing that. Then when we do that, what will happen? What effect that will have on us? If you give food, what will you expect to happen in return? Isn't it that logically you will think that a day will come when you will need food, but because you have given food, you have secured food? Isn't it? When you give wealth, you think that you have secured wealth. So a day will come when you will need money or you will need wealth, and so wealth will come. Is it? So indirectly you're saying or you're thinking that when we give something, we have secured that for ourselves. Is it? Then if I give a shrap that will cause death to you, what have I secured for myself? What have I secured for myself? What kind of fruit will come out of this seed that I have planted? What will come? And so when everybody thought that I went to sleep, I did not go to sleep, I went to think. That's why the door remained open, because if I'm asleep, then I will close the door. I didn't want to hear Sintra because she talked non-stop. During that 2 hours, she spoke non-stop. And she was sitting right behind the wall in my room where I am. And she's sitting with the Swami. Can you imagine the kind of conversations that is happening? But I did not allow that to disturb me. I quietly went in there. And then I recognized that the noise is creating a disturbance. So I opened the door. And every time I open the door, they're closing back the door. Until I pushed the door with force, and they say, "You open it?" And I said, "Yes." And they say, "Why?" With the hope that they will know that I'm in there and they need to be a little quiet. But they didn't stop them. And they say, "Why you open the door?" And I said, "Well, the paint fumes. You know, this is a new room. The paint fumes stifling me." And then Sintra said, "Oh, it's just the fumes." And she continued talking. I'm telling the truth, huh? The whole truth. Ask her, she'll tell you. Is that the truth? And so I stood there in the room and I'm thinking, what fruit will come out of placing such a shrap? And then I went into the book. I went into the book to find out what was the death like? What was the death experience like for this being who placed the shrap? And in our last katha on this Sunday morning when the Bhagwat is about to close, I will tell you. I will tell you what the experience is like because of the shrap that would have been placed, and because of the words and the tone and the way it would have been said, what the outcome will be. what the fruit of that action will be, I will tell you. And you'll be shocked to know. You'll be stunned to know. Because Raja Parikshit dies a peaceful death. But the person who places his shroud dies a painful death. No more questions, please? No more questions. This brings us to the end of our devotion this evening. And so our Katha continues tomorrow morning. At 9 o'clock we commence. And so from 9 to 11 we'll be here again to sing the glories of Bhagwan. Then from 2 to 4, and then in the night time again from 7 until 9. We don't want you to look on the television and stay home. You can go back and look at the television. There is replay now. You all know? Replay? You could go back and replay it. Because when Papa goes home in the night, he go back to look at himself. And he say, you know, I come my side part on the wrong side. It's looking twist on the TV. So I'll fix it the next side tomorrow. And he replays. So you can go home and replay. But come to the Yagna. The blessing is in coming. The only way the Yagna will be a success is when you come here. And when you come here and you partake of the bhog, the food that has been prepared. When you come here and you partake in the arti, the clapping and the singing and the kirtan. When you come here and you receive the prasadam in real. Come. You can't drive in the night. Then maybe that's why the sessions are in the morning. Lunchtime. You can drive. Baba, I can't get a driver. You have something to do that doesn't pertain to God. You find a driver, you know. You find a driver. But the minute you hear prayers and God and thing, you know the driver disappear. The driver say, oh God, I gone. Where there is a good, genuine, pure will, God will always create a way, an avenue. Always remember that. Just like He has created an avenue for us to pray by having this Bhagwat Saptaha. Satya Sanatana Dharma ki jai. Kara ho jai. Aarti लीजिए. Let us all stand for the aarti. Shubham karotu kalyanam arogyam sukhasamparam mama shatru vinashaya deepajotir namostute siddhi buddhi prade devi bhukti mukti pradayane mantra murti sada devi mahalakshmi namostute. Jai 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 Bhagwatam. Jai 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 Bhagwatam.
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम
जय जय भागवतम भगवान की हे आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय भागवत भगवान की हे आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
हे अमर गंतये मुक्ति पंतये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला
ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला
हरिगान ही वरदान
हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही
जग की मंगल की आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
जय जय भागवत भगवान की हे आरती
पापियों को पाप से है तारती
ये शांति दीप पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला।
ये सुख करने हे दुख हरने,
ये सुख करने ये दुख हरने,
ये मधुसूदन की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय जय भागवत भगवान की हे आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत कोल, सनमार दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत बोल, सनमार्ग दिखाने वाला, बिगड़े को बनाने वाला।
श्री राम ही घनश्याम
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही,
सबकी महिमा की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय भागवत भगवान की हे आरती।
पापियों को पाप से है तारती।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
जय 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 भागवतम, जय 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 भागवतम।
जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ।
जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ।
जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ।
जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ।
जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ। जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ। जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ।
जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ।
जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ। जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ। जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ।
जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ।
जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ। अम्बे भवानी माँ,
जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ।
जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ।
जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ।
जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ, जय जय अम्बे भवानी माँ। ये मधुर बोल जगपंत कोल, सनमार दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला।
ये मधुर बोल जगपंत कोल, सनमार्ग दिखाने वाला, बिगड़े को बनाने वाला।
श्री राम घनश्याम
श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही,
सबकी महिमा तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय मन्त्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं जनार्दन यत्पूजितं मया देव परिपूर्णं तनस्तमे त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुः शिखा त्वमेव विद्याद्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव ध्यो शान्ति अन्तरिक्षं शान्ति पृथिवी शान्ति आपा शान्ति ओषधे शान्ति वनस्पते शान्ति विश्वदेवा शान्ति ब्रह्मा शान्ति सर्वं शान्ति शान्तिरेव शान्ति सामा शान्तिरिद्धि भवतु। ॐ शान्ति ए मंत्र मनहर ओम शांति ओम sing it everybody ओम शांति ओम शांति ओम शांति ओम शांति उमापति महादेव की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय अयोध्या राम लला की जय वृंदावन कृष्ण चंद्र की गोरे सा जगन्नाथ की जय बोलो मैं सब संतन की जय सियापति रामचंद्र सत्य सनातन धर्म की सीताराम 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 कहे जाहि मीरा के रामा जाहि मीरा के रामा ताहि रहे
सीताराम 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 सीताराम
वृंदावन लाल की जय। आसन पर the arti will now come. The Panchamrit meals are provided for one and all. Please do stay and partake of the bhojan. And so Shana will lead us in two bhajans. But while she is singing, or just before she sings the bhajan, I want to sing a few lines. And so I'm going to dedicate these few lines to Brenda, who showed up tonight and will come for all the other nights. हे ब्रिज बसिया नारी को रसिया रोको न मेरे डगरिया हे ब्रिज बसिया नारी के रसिया रोको न मेरे डगरिया
हे ब्रिज बसिया नारी के रसिया रोको न मेरे लंगारिया हे ब्रिज बसिया नारी के रसिया रोको न मेरे लंगारिया
रोको न मेरे डगरिया सवरिया रोको न मेरे डगरिया
रोको न मेरे लंगरिया सवरिया रोको न मेरे लंगारिया
हे ब्रिज बसिया नारी के रसिया रोको न मेरे डगरिया
हे ब्रिज बसिया नारी के रसिया रोको न मेरे लंगारिया
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा एकमात्र स्वामी सखा हमारा
Today, there are two very powerful men. They have celebrated their birthday. Sri Mohan Persad is celebrating his birthday today. And my dada, Prakash Maharaj, all the way in Miami, he's celebrating his birthday. So both of them, I want to wish you, I spoke the Mo this morning. And I said to him, may Bhagwan continue to bless you and may all your wishes, all your desires be fulfilled. I want to pray that may Bhagwan listen to your prayer and may he grant unto you all your desires, now and always. Happy birthday.